I'm literally dead.
Yeah, you're cooked. You need like coffee or something.
I've had massive coffees.
Who cares? You're in prep. You just smash as many of those fuckers as you can. Yeah. Just think about the positives. It's a diuretic. It's going to get real lean from it.
Yeah, but then it's going to keep me awake.
Yeah, it won't. No, not from now on.
I thought my high carb day was going to like carry through to today. Nah.
I told you you'd fall off a cliff, and you're like, no, I'll be right. I was like, no, you won't.
I don't think it's done anything.
Yeah, that means you're going to get more of them, which is good, though.
All right.
Valid.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Do It For Her podcast. We are doing a rerun.
Yay, because we didn't click record yesterday.
So let's hope this all works out. And yesterday would have been ideal because I had a lot more energy yesterday. But today I feel like I could cock it.
Yeah, she's absolutely gassed. I mean, that's what you get when you're under 4 weeks out. You're in the threes now, so no energy in the tank. I mean, I've been watching multiple bodybuilding shows today, Melbourne IFBBs on. So my mate, 2 or 3 of my friends actually did really well. One won men's physique overall, opens. And then Ashley won figure women's overall. And then Kai, who's a natty, got 3rd in opens as well.
Shit.
And clean sweep, novice and true novice. And
oh my gosh. First time. Well, if he's in novice.
Yeah, she was novice. Yeah. The other 2 weren't allowed to compete in novice because they'd already won novices. But Kai's completely natural competing in IFBB too. So she's just a freak.
Sorry, what division?
Wellness.
That's...
Wellness? No, sorry, she was bikini for IFBB. But for natural, she was...
Wellness, natural. If you're... Oh, my goodness me.
Give her any kind of PED, she could be natural, for sure. But she did bikini.
Yeah, wow, that's nice.
Yeah. I forgot. I remembered. I was watching... Even though I watched it, but yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So if you want to go have a look, Kai is a fluorescent green bikini that came 3rd in open women's on the IFBB Instagram. Shout out to Kai, the homie. Coach, her partner is my best friend, Josh. So they're 2 of my very good friends. So very excited and happy for them.
Good on her. That's a massive accomplishment, especially for her first show as
well. Yeah, go enjoy your 750 grams of carbs. You're gonna have to
well deserved, 100%. Well, today we have Ben on the podcast. Before we get started, I do want to start every episode with a little opening question. I did ask you this yesterday. So
I have my goldfish, so I've already forgot.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, so the question is, what does the phrase "do it for her" or "do it for him" mean to you, or who does it remind you of?
Yes, my mum and my sister are 2 of the closest people in my life. So I think it's very important to empower women. And one of the reasons I like working with women as well for coaching is to help them empower themselves to be the best version of that they can be and not be driven by external pressures that are put on them from society, which, weight, strength, how to be with a partner, like whatever those expectations are, it shouldn't matter. It should be how you value yourself. And I think empowering women to do that is fantastic that you're working on.
I love that. That's beautiful. So I'm assuming you have a very close relationship with your mum, sister?
Yeah. My poor old mum gets chewed off by me. So, but to be fair, she can out-talk me. So, but no, I talk to my mum all the time. Oh, yeah, well and truly.
I've never seen
on many of our phone calls, I won't talk. She'll just talk.
Wow.
She'll just talk, and I'll just let her rip, and I'll just do I'll just keep working away, and she'll just be talking for like 45 minutes straight.
It's beautiful. It's nice that you have such a close relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now my sister and I have a very good relationship as well. She's like one of my closest people in my life as well. So it's definitely important for me to set a good example for them. As they weren't necessarily the healthiest individuals off the bat, but to set a good example for them. And my sister, who's as of today, what is she at? I literally did her check-in this morning. 110 down to 85. That's 25 off?
Yeah.
25.
Wow.
That's math. Yeah, 25 kilos off now.
That's insane. And how long's that journey been for?
When did we start? About September last year.
That's incredible. What? That's like 7,
6, 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. I think 6 or 7 months. Yeah, and look, the whole time she hasn't been training the whole time. Big thing is with her situation with mental health. If you want to watch, I have episodes with her and do a podcast with her, little HV transformations. It's basically all about my sister. It has nothing to do really with me, but yeah, she had a lot of mental health struggles around depression and anxiety, and was on like all the meds. But now, because she's lost all the weight, because she's got the confidence, and because she found out she had ADHD on top of that, a lot of things started to make sense. And because she's feeling better about herself, she's completely detoxed off all of those medications.
That's incredible.
Yeah, full transparency, and like it's all over the internet. Hide it, but we used a little bit of retatrutide to help her, just to manage the food noise. And one of the other massive benefits of retatrutide that most people miss, and it wasn't really public because a lot of the papers weren't finished being submitted and reviewed, but now it's all public. People can see it, but it works. One of the other big benefits of retatrutide is it doesn't just work on helping you lose weight. It also works on the neurological function that works with addiction. So it actually will numb that addiction. However, you also have to be careful with it now, as we're seeing a side effect already, that it can also numb your feelings in relationships, because it completely numbs that part of you. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah, so if your partner, for instance, has got on retatrutide, they might have been the most happy, lucky, and loving person, and it feels like your relationship sort of dried up in a way, and they're doing retatrutide, take it out and see if that changes them. And I almost guarantee it will, because that center of their brain has just been numbed, because it can be used now. It's very common, and we've seen lots of anecdotal evidence and studies to show now that people that had cocaine addictions, or addicted to drinking, or self-destructive behaviors, or even depressive states that started retatrutide, obviously they got the health benefits, but with the same way it turns off food noise and the addiction to food, it works the exact same way for all those substances.
Why is it essentially like a nerve blocker?
It's a chemical. It completely turns off that chemical pathway.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So it numbs that feeling and that desire for you to want to have it. And that's the power of retatrutide, of why it's so much better than something like an Ozempic, or tirzepatide's okay, but semaglutide as well, because they work on one pathway instead of 3 pathways. You got your glucagon receptor, your IGF-1, and your GLP, and your oh my gosh, acronyms. I've been only talking about it all day on check-ins to people, but you got your GLP receptor, because they're GLPs. You get your glucagon receptor, and then your IGF-1, and it works across all 3 of them. So when you numb only one of them, which is what an Ozempic does, it will actually burn through everything. It won't just turn off the signaling, which helps you burn body fat. It will completely burn everything, muscle, fat, you name it. Its job is just to get rid of it and just strip it. Just burn anything it can for energy. But because you can't eat on it, you can't input energy.
Yeah. It's a bit of a health risk there, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's with any substance that you take, whether that be performance enhancing or peptides, or you want to take something new. We don't know the long-term results, unless it's something, like a testosterone, creatine, natural things, glutamine, growth hormone, insulin. We know how all of that works, because we've had it for a very, very long time. And a lot of the bodybuilding steroids, we know exactly how they work, because we have lots of anecdotal research to be able to look at, where when we have peptides, a lot of the peptides have only existed for 10 years at best, most of them within 24 months, even less.
Wow.
So we can see the benefits, but you don't know the long-term side effects that you're playing with. So, they all seem harmless, because most peptides are an amino acid chain, and relatively should be harmless. Theoretically, like GHKCU, your GLOW, BPC 157, TB 500, all of those sort of ones, they're fantastic. But a lot of them, we're seeing a lot more secretagogues of growth hormone, and people don't want to take actual growth hormone. Well, if you're going to take something that is going to chemically manipulate your body to be able to produce more, to make it happen, then, we don't know the negatives yet. But if you just take a complete substitute of insulin, which is completely bioavailable and your body produces it, growth hormone as growth hormone, you're just increasing the amount in your body. Your body knows how to handle it. We know the side effects. Testosterone, you're literally just putting something that's already in your body and you're synthesizing more of it.
Yeah, it's like, if you were to compare it, it's like taking creatine. Creatine's already a supplement that your body
100%.
naturally produces. So when you take creatine, you're just enhancing the quantity that you have rather than adding something in.
It's like all natural substances. In most cases, they are they are exactly what the name is, supplements.
Yeah.
Because they are in the body, so we're supplementing them to bring them up to the right word. The key word is supplement.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think a lot of people miss that factor, that they are supplementary, so therefore they already exist within your body.
Yeah.
We already have vitamin K2, we already have vitamin D, we have magnesium, we have, all of those minerals within us.
Yeah.
We're just enhancing the amount we have so we can perform more optimally, which is what ideally people are looking for with peptides, is to enhance the amino acid chains that is a peptide. But again, we don't know the negative because we have chemically produced it.
Yeah.
Again, everything's chemical, but we've manipulated it to work on certain receptors. We don't know what that's going to happen. We don't know the fatigue rate of a lot of receptors yet. But anyway,
A little scientific spill there.
Yes. The autism coming in.
Yeah, if you can't tell, he's very passionate about what he does. All right. Well, I think we might.
If I haven't given it away, I'm making it. I do coaching as well. So yeah.
He does, and he's very good at what he does. Spent a lot of hours putting in the research and the hard work behind the scenes to make sure that he is showing up the best for his clients. So if you are looking for a coach, 100%, give Ben a message, because I'm sure he'd be happy to take you.
Absolutely. Happy to have a conversation and see if you want to work with me and for a good fit, first and foremost.
100%. Well, do you want to take us back a little bit and just give us a bit of a rundown about, I guess, your backstory, yourself? Tell us about you.
Yeah, sure. So I have come from a largely sporting background, hence why I love working with people and that sort of space, but grew up on the south coast of Australia, just past there. So if you know NRL, you know the Dragons, Wollongong. I'm just south of that on the beach there. So grew up with there, got mum, dad, little sister and little brother. Their brother is 7 years younger than me, so big old gap between the two of us there. So it was like having another kid in the house when I was younger that I had to help raise, which was a cool yet challenging experience. Then from there, I graduated high school and I could not get out of my hometown quick enough because I wanted to build a new identity, as I was a little fat kid growing up, and no matter how hard I worked, I couldn't get out of that identity. So I left, did 5 years in Canberra. Canberra ran out of opportunities and I needed to reset life with some poor decision making and not being able to break some habits and addictions that were there. And I knew I had to change environment. And then I moved to Brisbane. I was there for 2 years, and then that all sort of suddenly blew up, and started my business, and here I am now in Bali.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What do you feel like? Do you feel like there's one specific moment that was quite a pivotal moment for you, or has there been multiple?
Oh, many pivotal moments. But I think one of my key things with me personally for my life is I don't regret much.
Yeah.
I make a point not to regret things because everything happens for a reason, and I think that's one of the things that I've been careful with. And I don't regret taking drugs. I don't regret making mistakes because they are who you shape you are. And I wonder sometimes if I hadn't have made those errors and not spent silly money on certain things, where would I be? But then I wouldn't be here where I am now. So
exactly right, and you wouldn't have the lessons that you've learned from those, because there's so many lessons that you learn when it comes from when you heal your relationship with yourself, and then recovering from a drug addiction as well. There are so many lessons in that. Can you talk a little bit about your addiction for us?
Sure. So my addiction became as a bit of a supplementary way of it coming along. So I was a bit of a goody two shoes when I was goody two shoes is probably the wrong way to put it, but I seemed like the goody two shoes. I was a bit of a brawler at school because I got picked on because I was a little fatty. But when I got to uni, I didn't drink till I was over 18, and due to respect for my parents, didn't want to carry on like a pork chop in Wollongong, but I wanted to have the fun and carry on. And what sort of led me to the path of drugs was seeing everyone doing it, having a good time, and then my attempt at being professional sport got ripped away from me, and I wanted to substitute it with something else. It was just party drugs. Like, I didn't do anything too crazy, but I had a mate, and I was out with a bunch of mates, and they just chuck a cap in my beer, and off we went. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then, the rest was history. I just then I became the life of the party, because when I was 3 drinks deep, I thought I was the best version of myself because I felt indestructible, and I got the attention from girls. Everyone thought I was the cool guy. I was the one everyone wanted to hang out with because I was reckless and carefree, and But that was me hiding a buttload of insecurity because I didn't have any of that attention when I was younger, and then it was all new, and I went, well, I've got to have this to keep the attention. And then it was the quick fix in every negative thing that ever happened in my life.
Yeah, when you were I guess when you were numbing all those feelings and everything, and you were getting that validation from people for the way you were, like when you were on everything, did you realize it at the time, or was it something that you realized later down the track?
I thought I was the man. I genuinely, when you're in that moment, you don't realize because you do still drink, because you do still do drugs, you just do it. If you don't feel like the man in that point, you just do the drugs, and then you feel like that individual. Like you feel like you're that guy. Or you knew, I don't know, a lot of people know who Ben Cousins is, but a lot of people don't. But, Ben Cousins, it's a terrible quote, but it's very funny, and it's in Australian folklore at this point. But, he would train incredibly hard for a 2-week block, but he always knew at the end of that 2-week block he was going to dive into as much drugs as he could get his hands on, because he knew there was an opening down there, and he was just going to send it. And it was like that with me when I was younger. It was, all right, I'm going to work really hard. During the week, I wouldn't drink. I would be locked in. But the minute that time came, I was diving into as much as I could get my hands on. It was get on the caps, get on the bag, get on the drink, go as hard as I can. But as it turned out, it was never so much the drugs. I could handle the drugs. The drugs weren't the issue. It wasn't what's drawing me in, it was the drink. I couldn't stop the drink. It was never one drink. It was the first drink. That was a hard one, was breaking the drinking, because I was like, it shouldn't be that bad. But the drinking was the most destructive.
Because it's legalized. Like, it's so acceptable for people to go out and drinking and everything. And everyone jokes about, like, being blackout drunk and, like, having a good time and everything. But really, it's genuinely the most dangerous drug of them all, I personally believe, because it is so acceptable.
Oh, yeah.
And then
it's how you celebrate everything.
As well. Exactly. Anytime you go to an event or anything, like, there's either 95% of the table are already drinking and drunk, or you're being offered alcohol or something. Like, it's always in front of you unless you intentionally pull yourself away from that.
100%.
What do you feel made that shift from having no awareness to what it was actually like doing and making, like, changing the person that you were, and then being like, oh wait, no, like, something's actually not right here, like, we need to change?
It was probably bodybuilding, probably. The first proper 12-month stint I did off drinking was when I wanted to do my first show. And it was sort of, I would have a couple good stints, and I'd be like, made like a month sober, and then I'd go really hard again. Yeah. And then I would get sucked straight back in, and it was always so hard to get the claws back out of me. It was a nightmare. And I just, because I would seek it out. It wasn't like I would just, the boys are going for one, I'll have a couple. It was like I was the one G'ing everyone up because I wanted a reason to go. Because I wanted to feel that release. I wanted to not feel what was going on in my life at that time. And because I felt lost, and I hadn't re-sort out my faith at that point, it was the easiest solution was, if I don't have to feel, then I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But you don't realize that until you have time away and you're like, oh, okay. But I always knew that I needed, it was always sort of like it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad until when I moved to Brisbane, I got a really good job and I was the specialist hire they brought up from Canberra to do what I did because I was a good recruiter at the time. And then we went a bit at the Christmas party, whatever their big yearly event was. It was like every single office from the country was at the one resort. Everyone was carrying on, but I was used as an example because I was first in, first out. Last in, first out. So they used me as the big example. I mean, that company, ironically, now is lost due to the way the company carries on. It got filmed and put in public and they lost the Brisbane 32 contract.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Sounds like there's a whole story in that one in itself.
Oh, yeah, that's all over Google.
Wow.
I won't name said company, but so then I lost that job, had no friends up in Brisbane, very lost. And I got to a point, basically had two choices, and I was struggling to get work too because I was like, well, I can't say what company I've come from because I was only there for like 2 weeks. It looks really bad. What happened? We just, parted ways. It didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
So I'm a very good salesman in that respect. So I was able to do it, but I didn't lie. I just was very honest in interviews and going, hey, it just didn't work out. Like, I was only there for 2 weeks. Both parties mutually agreed it didn't work out, and that was that. But I was sitting in front of a bottle and a bunch of bags and then a message to my coach, and it was either, all right, let's see how far we can run this into a hole and basically end myself that way, or send the message. As you can probably tell, I sent the message. But yeah, went completely sober from that August 23 all the way through to August 24. So that was my first 12-month stint off. My life had never been so good during that period. A lot of dark days getting over it. Like, if you ever want to stop doing anything or beat addiction, the first 3 months is very hard. And then I found month 11 of the 12, when you sort of get into that initial, I'll be off it for a year. That then was another, wake up call. But then I got broken up with about 2 months after that. And then again, I dove back into the drink and the drug. And then, because all my mates in Brisbane had never been out for a drink with me, they didn't know. They'd heard all the stories from my mates back home, being like, 3-drink Benny's the most lethal individual you've ever met. I was like, oh, righto. Ended up going out, carrying on, doing all the things that young lads do. But it wasn't till 2025 Australia Day, I remember all me and my mates were going to go out. Most of my mates had partners, and they're like, yeah, we're coming out. We've been drinking at the beach all day. And then I've gone out to where we were going. No one showed up, and I was sitting there drinking at a bar by myself, high as a kite, sitting there with a packet. And I was like, well, yeah, that's enough. That'll do.
Yeah.
And I just had this snap realization of, okay, we're done
This
now.
is a normal
and then just haven't picked anything up since then.
That's incredible. I feel like it really does. I don't know. I feel like there's a specific point, and you kind of just have. It's like something calls out to you, and it's like, wake up, genuinely wake up. Yeah.
Get your shit in order.
Do you feel like, because I know you are religious, do you feel like that's, do you feel like that was like a calling from God?
Oh, 1,000%.
In that moment?
1,000%. So that was one big thing. I refound my faith that end of 24. I competed in 24. I competed in 24?
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, I competed in 24, so the end of 23. Sorry. And I moved to Brisbane at the end of 23. So that, and then, so that was sort of, then I went home and I was sober at that point. But I went to a friend's in Parkes, New South Wales, and was hanging out with them. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to drive home on New Year's, and instead of staying and hanging out with them, I drove 5 hours home, went to church. by myself.
Wow.
And then I made that choice. I was like, when I go back to Brisbane, I'm finding a church. I went to 11 different churches till I found the one that I liked, that like fitted for me. And then from that point on, my life's trajectory just got better and better and better.
Yeah, wow. Can I ask when, because you said you found your faith again, when was the point where you lost your faith and why?
It was definitely like once I got to Canberra, it was this, I don't need to go to church. I'm just going to carry on and just be out drinking all the time.
Do you feel like that was because of how depressed you were and how much you just really didn't want to be alive? Like you kind of...
That was towards the back end of it. Like I was sort of all right. It came a little bit, and I wasn't too bad, but it was sort of like I got attention. Like I had female attention for the first time in my life. I got to be the guy when I was in those situations, and I never experienced that. So, I was a young kid. I was an 18, 21, 22, 23-year-old, and, I was like, oh, well, that's what we do. And I just stopped going to church. And, if I was home for Christmas or something like that, I'd go with the family, but it was very much a whatever. Like, I remember one of the rules when I would come home, mum and dad was always like, you got to come to church. Like, if you want to go, do what you want to do. I came home from an individual's house, went to church in the morning, and dad knew exactly where I'd come from, and I was sitting in the church. Ironically, they're talking about premarital shit. And he's staring at me, and the rest of the church just looking at me, and I've looked at my dad, and we're both just like giggling to ourselves, knowing exactly what I've been up to. But yeah, that sort of point, I didn't even realize. I was like, oh, whatever. And then it was sort of like, once I got a bit older, I was like, oh, dipped my toe back in when I had my first girlfriend. I went to church like once or twice, but didn't sort of like line up. But it was very much a sort of a fuck you, because I was like, I don't feel like you're helping me.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't want to help yourself, then... But every time I sort of got to a particular depth, it's always been like, God's just been like, not yet, champion. Not yet. Or he'll be like, time to reality check you. Like, pull your head in. So, definitely my faith is one of the things that is one of my superpowers now, and keeps me very straight and narrow. And every time I drift too far, it pulls me back.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel like a lot of successful people, or people in bodybuilding as well, like maybe they didn't grow up being religious, but a lot of them have ended up turning to God later down the track in life. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think that drives that?
That's a great question. I think, and that's probably one of the most beautiful things about this return to Bali for me, is I've had a number of people realize that I'm Christian and sort of like seek me out to ask questions, because I'm not a Bible basher. Like, if you ask, I'll tell you, but I'm not going to force it down your throat. And if someone goes, are you religious? I'm going to say it with pride, but I've never been the one to be like, are you Christian? Are you Christian? Are you Christian? Yeah. It's like, you ask, I'll have a conversation, and then you want to ask lots of questions, I'll answer all your questions. I don't have an issue with that. But I think a lot of athletes and bodybuilders, because it can be, with any athletic endeavor, there is an element of, you have to be comfortable with aloneness and isolation. And I think as a part, you sort of isolate yourself in a lot of ways, because you think initially that's how you're going to be the most successful. And you go, okay, well, if I shut all the outside noise out, people can't interfere with me. But then that creates that loneliness. So then you go, well, it's working because I'm getting closer to my goal, because I've filtered out all my bad habits of drinking and drugs and girls or guys or whatever it is. And then you sort of go on this journey of self-discovery of going like, well, why should I feel whole but I don't? Why do I feel empty? And then something will come across, or you'll run into somebody and you'll be like, how come you're doing the same thing as me but you don't seem like empty? Or like when everything gets really, really bad, like you get sad but you don't get depressed. And like, why do you not get to that point? And then you go, oh, okay. And you sort of like assess what's around, and you start asking deeper questions about it. And then I think you sort of go, okay, well, yeah, these things can't be coincidences, and it all sort of like starts to add up.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think with the state of the current world as well, I've noticed that from a lot of mates that never had any interest have reached out to me in the last sort of like 2 months to, or they've been like, oh, I've started my walk with Christ. And I'm like, okay, awesome, how good, because of a lot of the things that have happened going and the evil, and they're just like, it can't make sense. But the one thing that always stands strong is Christianity. Doesn't matter what time you've gone through, you can always look back at that. Look, it's not perfect, but there's not perfect people in it. No one is perfect, but it's it's the only religion that I know of that you don't have to do anything to
get love from God.
Be loved and have grace and be cared for.
That's beautiful. Do you have a favorite verse from the Bible?
Ooh, I am terrible when it comes to memories. I know Proverbs 27:12, and then obviously the obvious one that a lot of people know is John 3:16. And honestly, just one of the most simple ones, love thy neighbor. And then when you dive in deeper, that next passage below that a lot of people don't know is love thy neighbor despite what they do, essentially. Meaning, no matter how cruel somebody is, no matter how evil somebody is, love them nonetheless. Because God loved you God loves you with all your sins and all your faults. He gave his only son. So, who are you to judge?
Yeah, exactly.
You're imperfect, they're imperfect. Christianity is the religion, and I see it a lot of time where, a lot of people will have terrible backgrounds, convicts, criminals and everything, and then they find Christ. He doesn't discriminate. He doesn't care. Okay, you had a bad past, you're a violent past. He cares about who you are and what you do from that point on.
Yeah, exactly. There's always, you can't change what you've done or who you were and everything, but
doesn't justify it. Don't get me wrong. Please,
absolutely.
Don't get that twisted. It doesn't justify it in a worldly sense, but as a Christian, if God has accepted them in and they've accepted God into our heart, it's not for us to judge because we're just as imperfect. Exactly
right. In different ways, but in the same sense, it's still doing things that aren't acceptable to someone. So if if you're not being judged for that, then really who are you to judge? And if you are judging someone as well,
you're worse. As said in the Bible, if you're the one judging another one of your brothers and sisters, you are as bad, if not worse, than what they do.
Exactly.
Don't be a murderer or go killing people, but they are forgiven at the end of the day, whether you like it from a worldly sense or not. But in the same essence, according to the 10 Commandments, just as bad if you lie, cheat, and steal. So
exactly. All right. Well, I feel like we're going down a bit of a
rabbit hole. Going down a rabbit hole.
Okay. I kind of want to back it up a little bit.
Go for it.
Because we're definitely going down a bit of a rabbit hole there. But I know when we were talking, you it's kind of a very hidden subject when it comes to men and males, just because I feel like mostly females actually go and get help for it, or females actually speak out about it, or maybe it's viewed in a different sense, like it's more recognizable in females. But you did mention having an eating disorder. What did that look like for you, and how did that start? Or
So I had bulimia. I never say with any eating disorder, if you have one, you always sort of have it. You don't ever really lose it. You just get better at managing it and making it, sort of overcoming it, I suppose, is a better way of putting it. And you'll have certain parts that will show up. But I definitely wouldn't say I suffer or have it per se anymore. I have tendencies sometimes. But I was bulimic. What drove me to be bulimic was when I was mentioned I played field hockey. For anybody that's not too sure about the hockey, wasn't ice. It's on a AstroTurf field. It's the one you watch in the Summer Olympics. Or you may have realised you don't watch it in the Summer Olympics. But I was playing that. I moved to Canberra to try and make it. And I had a coach come up, pat me on the back after they'd asked me to try and lose a bunch of weight and get super, super lean, because hockey players are tall, lean, and with pronated shoulders. And as you can see, I am none of those three. and I got down to about 69 kilos, but I was like 8%, had no endurance running, had no gas tank, couldn't perform at that like level of leanness when hockey is a very explosive and endurance-based sport. And one of my biggest strengths was my gas tank.
Yeah.
But I needed to be a bit more stocky. So, and when you're that low body fat, as you're now learning, your cognitive function is very slow and goes out the window, particularly when you're natural. And yeah, essentially just got pat on the back by a coach. So it was like, that's it. And what the bulimia sort of looked like to get there was me going really, really low on calories to start with, but then being like, I still want to eat other things, so I'd chew it and I'd let it sit on my tongue and then I'd spit it back out.
Yeah.
I'd wash my mouth out, or I would let the flavour sit, feel it, and then like spit it out, or try and make myself vomit a little bit. I've got a fantastic gag reflex now, which is terrible for when I used to drink, because I couldn't make myself throw up. Terrible when you got barley belly and all you want to do is throw up and you can't do it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, terrible. Anyway, you can all have a giggle at that one. You dirty little minded individuals, just like where all your heads went. But yeah, so I had all those factors and it reared its head up definitely pretty badly a couple times, sort of usually at the back end of the diet, and it's always been around gaining weight. For me on the other side, because I was a big kid and then I got super shredded for that, felt what it was like to get shredded, but on the back of that I completely ruined my hormones. So I realized something was wrong when I was going out and doing all the partying again, and I was out, but like everyone was a blob. I was a 19-year-old bloke who should just be rampantly full of testosterone and wanting to just about put a hole in the wall, but I had none of those feelings. I was just numb all the time. Like everyone was blobs. I could be out, get hit on, wouldn't even know, wouldn't even register it. And I was like, something's wrong. 6 doctors later, I finally got a blood test, and it came back with the same testosterone as a 14-year-old girl. So it was double digits. Not good. And they were like, yeah, do TRT, or we got to eat, like get your fat essentially to try and drive your hormones up. Which I did. Didn't do anything. Just made me really depressed. And fat, which then I went the other way again and made it really bad because I went keto. Don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but it worked. I got really shredded, but I had no energy, felt like shit, and a ghost of myself, and it just actually made the hormones worse. So they then were like, okay, well, testosterone replacement therapy is probably the answer. And if anybody knows, back then it was very taboo to be doing steroids about 7 years ago now. There wasn't much public information out there like there is now to know what you were doing. You just sort of did it. You met some big burly gym bloke that was probably bald. The mum was bald and the security guard, well, couldn't have hit more of a stereotype if I tried, and got it off him, who my best mate at the time that I was living with. I had always been stronger than him, even though I was younger than him. And then within 6 weeks, he went straight past me, and I was like, what is doing? And that was like the last skerrick of my ego I still had at that point. And then he pulled me into his room and was like, hey, man, like, this is it. And then from then I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do steroids.
Yeah.
I was like 19, 20, did my first cycle. Went from very light, probably like 75, to like 103, 104, and then tore my ACL because I was too heavy. And for most people don't know this, but when you take anabolic steroids, your muscles grow very, very quickly, but your tendons and ligaments don't. They grow at like half the speed. So you need to make sure you're taking growth hormone or something to support your tendon and ligament growth. Because if you're pumping a lot of PEDs, then you need to make sure you're then taking the things that support it, or taking your health stack, which at that time I was not doing any of it. I was young and dumb.
Before the testosterone and like realizing like all that like something wasn't right in like your blood work and everything, when you were doing like the purging and everything, was anyone around you aware?
It was sort of just a joke.
Yeah, right.
I think as a guy, you tend to not talk about that sort of stuff because you just don't really think.
Yeah.
And it's not till like after the fact when it becomes a habit that you can't stop.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking about it now. I remember sitting there sucking the colour off M&Ms and then spitting them in the bin with my mates at uni when we were sitting there on the lounge. I used to sit there, suck them off, and then spit them in the bin, and it became a game. But they didn't realise for me that was like how I was getting
That's really
the
hard.
buzz. I didn't think I even realised it then.
Yeah.
It wasn't sort of like until I looked back at like certain things going, oh, that was very bulimic of me. I just thought it was me trying to like shortcut the system, being like, oh, I'm so smart. But it was sort of like every time I went into a cut, it was like, oh, I've got to do that.
Yeah, wow. What, because you were like doing the purging and everything, when did that stop?
When did it stop? That's a great question. I think I just sort of went. I didn't ever need to get that lean again, so I never really got to that point. Or then I started calorie tracking a bit more and learned what calorie tracking was when I got my PT accreditation at 19. That was initially what made me really bad because I was like, oh, I can control this way more, or I can like chew that. But it then turned from chewing it to I'm gonna make the smallest amount of thing fit in and like cutting off tiny pieces of like, oh, I'm gonna have 3 grams of an Oreo, or like I'm gonna cut a quarter of an Oreo and eat that.
I feel like I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, and just do that and do things like that. Or be like, oh, I'm gonna eat just that. Or I won't eat all day because I want to eat a pizza. And I would weigh it meticulously.
So it was very much you needed to be in control.
Oh, 100%. It was a control thing for me. It was like no matter what chaos I had going on around me, I was in control of that, and no one could like take that away from me.
How do you think you let that control aspect go?
Probably wasn't until my first growth phase when I was bodybuilding, actually, because it was always extremes. It was like, all right, well, I've got to put weight on, just purge myself, just eat as much as I physically could force into my face.
Yeah. Do you feel like that was because someone took the decision making out for you and they told you what to do? Do you feel like that played a big part?
So my first coach, I was macros, but it was always, and why I've always had trouble putting size on, and it's always been such an arbitrary thing for me, and the only way I've ever been able to do it is I had to relearn now that it's better to go over than under.
Yeah.
And I couldn't unteach myself from like not being so meticulous of going, if I had 4,610 calories, I would hit 4,603 calories, 5 calories.
Yeah.
I'd sit just under to not go over. When you're trying to grow, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, if you accrue a little bit more body fat, cool, just do some cardio on the other side. Like, you know, but like I was like, no, it has to be meticulously handled. And that's one thing I think I teach with my clients now, and I think I'm very good at, and why I'm such a component of doing meal plans over macros, or if we are going to move away from a meal plan, that you need to have all those special events in your life, because I was that person that just wouldn't eat at events. And I used to cop it all the time, but it was sort of an ego thing of, oh, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Which then I would go home and then I'd be fucking annoyed at myself. It was like, yeah, no, I'm doing the right thing. But like, oh, I've missed out on another thing.
Yeah.
When you don't have to do that. Like, it's really not going to blow the horse out with the apple cart. The only time you have to do that sort of stuff is, you know, when you're in a prep, you've got a goal to lose weight. Like, you know, then you have to make the choice. But it's about knowing how to make the choice. And that's why, rather than tracking with a lot of my clients, when they're done that, we'll transition them off a meal plan. Sometimes, like one of my girls, for instance, she's going to Europe in 3 months. So she takes photos of all her food and sends it to me. So I'm teaching her how to, 1 week we'll get it away. I'll get it away of everything. But then I'm like, okay, I want you to take photos of everything and send them to me, because I know, looking at it, how much it's going to be.
100%.
But I want you to learn what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because The real power of this is being able to go in an off season or when you're having free time, or in the key to a healthy lifestyle isn't to macro track everything all the time. It's to be able to look at a plate and go, yeah, it's about ballpark.
Yeah.
Or if you're worried you didn't hit your protein target, go home and have a protein shake. Smack a protein bar. If you're in Asia, go to some convenience store and get a protein shake.
Right.
It's about learning how to emotionally detach from that.
Yeah.
Because once you emotionally detach, you'll find you won't get as much inflammation. You actually won't overeat. You'll enjoy yourself a lot more, which then means because you're not stressed, you're not then going to panic eat or panic under eat. So it's learning that skill.
And your body actually responds a lot better because well, as we all know, like stress leads to inflammation on the body. So your body will just look inflamed and puffy and everything. But when you quiet that head noise and everything, your body actually responds to the foods that you're eating and it digests it properly rather than storing onto things and not actually using it to its best capability.
Yeah. It can't shuttle when you're eating in a stress state or you're in an elevated high stress environment. You aren't going to be able to effectively partition the nutrients.
Yeah.
You are just going to, it is going to do the fastest conversion. Unless you're eating a carbohydrate, the fastest conversion is then to use it as energy. But if you're eating anything else, the fastest conversion and the easiest conversion is to hold it and convert it to fat.
Yeah.
Because it's an effort. It's a pretty much, it doesn't take much effort for the body to then store it as fat because it then doesn't have to shuttle it, transport it, thermogenically burn it, and then get rid of it as a waste product. It just goes boom and puts it in storage. It's a very quick process for the body to do instead of it having to do what we want it to do, which is take that 4-step process.
When it comes to stress, what have you found are like the most benefit?
I'm terrible. I'm better. This is the best in my life I've ever been with stress.
Okay, what do you feel has been like the key things that have helped you actually take control of your stress rather than your stress controlling you?
Fantastic question. I think one of the biggest factors for myself is not socially isolating myself, because I would then make rash decisions for connection. Like an example of that from the business side of things is I signed up to a program, a mentorship, and I was like, oh, I want one-on-one, I want this, I want that, when that wasn't really what I wanted at all. All I wanted was connection. Yes, I needed those things, but I let it masquerade as something else instead of sitting back and making a good cognitive decision about it because I had A, good community, B, a good environment, and C, a good support system. So having those things in place is very, very important for me to keep at a good level of stress, but then to reduce my stress, it has been to actually make an active effort to prioritize recovery, which has been something for my whole life I've been pretty bad with and why I've been injury prone.
Yeah, what does recovery look like for you?
So as simple as is making sure I take myself for a walk, but then also utilizing things like hot plunges, cold plunges, saunas, actually getting massages and things like that. Again, I understand, particularly if you're in Australia, financially, it's probably not something that you can afford regularly to do.
Yeah.
But doing things that allow you to calm your brain, whether that's setting aside a time every week that for me are non-negotiable now, and I've made it this year, my goal this year is all footy season. I don't book meetings when the Bulldogs play in the NRL.
Are you?
I'm a diehard Doggies
sorry,
fan.
I'm AFL.
Oh, I'm a Swannies fan in the AFL.
Way.
No, I'm a Swannies fan in the AFL. So, but like, yeah, when my sporting teams play, I don't book meetings now because for me, that's like my release. Yes, sometimes it actually makes me more stressed, but it's an enjoyment piece, and it's that I've prioritized myself for 2 hours.
That's nothing in the grand scheme of things, really.
Which seems like a very hard task because I also promised myself I'd try and take a day off a week, and that sort of happens every 3 weeks, or like I get just like half a day. I literally just got sprayed today by every single one of my friends for not taking a day off because I started checking calls at 5 a.m. this morning, which is like 7, huh?
It's one of them.
Yeah, yes. I got ripped to pieces by you and Dev and my mum and my sister. And also one of my mates who I was like telling, who I coach, and was like, book your check-in. He goes, nah, I'm not booking it. I was like, I've already got other check-ins booked. And he goes, nah, go to the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, book your check-in or I will kill you. And he's like, call me on a walk. I was like, fucking prick. Okay.
Oh, God.
But little things like that go a very, very long way. They make you a more able human to be able to actually function. And I think that's definitely one part of having a 9 to 5 that makes it a little easier, I think, is you're forced to have a weekend most of the time.
Yeah.
Where when you run your own business or, you're doing coaching or something, I definitely feel like I need to be accessible all the time.
Well, they're kind of like your babies, really. Like
100%.
You feel so responsible for them.
My family joke all the time that I'm married to my clients, and I'm married to my job. Well, not my job, like my business. They're like, you got bodybuilding and that. And they're like, until you can learn to let go of a little bit, you aren't going to find someone. I was like, yeah, fair enough. I'll cop that on the chin. I can't really fight back. They're not too wrong. But it's sort of, that's how I manage stress, is prioritizing that. Still have food stress. Like my most stressful part of my week is my free meal.
Yeah.
Every single week. I wig out on it. I have no reason to wig out on it, but I stress on it because it's like, is it going to flare up my gut because I'm gluten intolerant? Is it going to make me feel terrible because I'm lactose intolerant? Am I lean enough to justify having this? Should I have this when nearly every time I have the cheat meal, I lose weight the next day? But
yeah. I feel like as well, because you're being so intentional with your off season because of your goal in bodybuilding. Like, a lot of people think that prep is like where you have to be like super on the ball and super intentional and everything. But that's like the end. That's just like uncovering everything. Like the actual work has to be done in your off season. And I feel like that's why we put so much pressure on ourselves, or why we like have that little bit of fear, even though we know like it's
prep's the pressure release, honestly. Like last year when I started my prep, that was the easiest bit. That was the biggest pressure release, honestly, starting prep. Because my off season for me to be competitive, because I want to be a pro, my big thing is I knew I needed to be really diligent with getting the most out of this particular off season, and make sure that one of the big things I've learned from being around a lot of pros and a lot of professional athletes in my life, and one thing that I think I always usually get a pretty good tick from most people is, you have to act like the professional before 100%. You're the professional to earn it.
I literally said that when you left yesterday. I did my solo one. I literally said that.
Yeah. If you want to be a pro, you have to do all the things that make you a pro, because
exactly.
I am pretty realistic. I would love to go pro next time I get on stage, and that will 100% be the goal. But I'm also okay with not, as long as I know I've gone and improved like crazy. Because you never know who else is going to show up.
Exactly right.
But I will also know for a fact that I've done everything correct to become a pro. I just have to then wait my turn.
Yeah, I love that so much.
But after this particular off season, I'll be getting to do a lot more competing, a lot close together. So it'll be a lot better.
Yeah, I feel like pretty much starting from ground zero again, essentially, like with the way that Jackson's wanting to run everything, it's really stripping back and then building back up so that all the things that weren't exactly the most efficient, or what's the word? Like
removing all your little ticks.
Yeah.
I had bad behaviors and sort of things. I didn't even necessarily, I think I knew they were there, but like I just sort of went, it is what it is. And I didn't really put the value into it. But after getting sprayed repeatedly and having to now be more diligent and focus on it, I have noticed the difference from, like a lot of the machines I was moving like 3 plates, 4 plates on it. Like one of the seated chest press machines is, I'm putting 120 plate, not on either side, on one. And I was previously doing 3.5 plates on each side. And I am absolutely folded. Like the funny one is as well is like a Smith machine overhead, like a Smith machine military press for my shoulders, 80 kilos, but I incline press 60. Because my shoulders are fine. They didn't need any corrections. They're strong. But my chest needed a complete revamp. So, it's just one of those things. It's part of the process. Yeah, poor thing.
I just like full like.
Poor lad just tried to walk in and he was like, yeah, not going to do that. He just kept walking. He's just completely left. That's so funny.
I like gave him the eyes. I was like, don't you dare. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Poor kid. He's only been here for a couple of days.
Oh, he looked at me as if to be like, I was going to support champion.
Not today. Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like I just completely cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. I feel like we've been going for quite a while. So I've got a couple of questions here that we'll go through. You're working towards your pro card.
Yep.
Okay, first question. After everything you've been through, your addiction, your eating disorder, breakups, like the business loss and everything, how do you see yourself now?
Now, I see myself as relatively calm and particular person. I'm pretty particular with the people I spend my time with. I'm particular with how I approach my tasks. I'm now particular with the people I bring on board to who I coach.
Yeah.
Because if I don't want to do something, I don't have to do anything I don't want to anymore. Like I don't have a boss that tells me I have to do something.
Yeah.
Everything is my choice. So why make any other choice?
Exactly right. And your environment's so important, who you surround yourself with, because it's true what they say that you are what you surround yourself with. So no matter how much you try and stand against that, eventually you're going to adopt behaviors or beliefs or something if it's not the people that are right for you.
100%. I don't think it's even necessarily that. A lot of it's energy too. Like I love my family dearly and I spent a lot of time with them. When I came back from Bali last year, I lived with my parents for, what would have been 2.5, nearly 3 months. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm all good. Like I can stay in Wollongong a little bit longer. I was probably planning to stay till about now. But my mum and dad went away to Darwin and Hobart for a little 2-week holiday. And when they left, I realised, because my sister and brother have their own life and own friends because they've never left Wollongong, I realised I don't have anyone. I'm alone. And then I was like, oh, okay. And I was really struggling. And I was like, oh, right, okay. And I was like, I'm booking my ticket back. Because I was like, I need to get back in a good environment. I told mum and dad and they went, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought they were obviously disappointed because they're like, we like spending time with you, but they were like, we get it. Makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, we're very similar in that sense when going to Undefeated, because everyone, they're all in the exact same mindset, or somewhere or another, we're all very similar in some characteristics. So when you go in there, like you don't even have to really talk to anyone, but you just feel the energy from everyone and it changes everything for you.
Everyone's got pretty similar stories to how they ended up here, I think, which is pretty cool.
I agree.
I mean, you don't end up for a lot of them, the other side of the world without taking a risk or taking a gamble. You can have as much money as you like, but moving away from the environment you are is always a risk because you don't know how that's going to go. And money, as quick as it can come, it can disappear.
100%. Yeah.
So
that's so true. Do you feel like you've rebuilt yourself, or have you uncovered who you always were?
That's a good one. A bit both. Probably accepted a lot of things and came to an understanding with myself. I think it's probably a better way to put it, of not fighting against what I was and what I used to be, and accepting what I used to be was what I used to be. It's not what I have to be. And making, again, intentional choices about how I spend my time, what I do with my time, how I approach what I approach, doing my best to be intentional with everything I do. So, I would say, I don't ever think, I think rebuilding is a little overrated. I think it's a reset and a restart, because you're never really rebuilding, because you don't ever forget what you went through. I think it's you restart. You just, okay, cool. You went back to the start. You go again. Like that's how it is. Like, you know, if you blow up, you get super shredded, and then you put on 30 kilos. You're not then rebuilding to get there. You're restarting your journey there.
Yeah.
But you get really skinny, and then, you know, you end up in an eating disorder, for instance, or something like that. You're not rebuilding from there. You're restarting from that point of your journey.
Yeah, because you still have all the experience from before.
Yeah, because you've got the experience, and like any successful entrepreneur, any successful person will say to you is you have to fail more times than you're going to succeed.
100%.
But you succeed faster the next time because you know what you went through. You know what you did. You go, okay, that's what's happening. Let's pivot very quickly before I end up down there again. You can pivot faster. You pivot faster. So I think you reset and redirect. It's probably better than rebuild. I think rebuild's a bit of a buzzword in the self-help environment.
I agree. Would you consider yourself successful?
Ooh. I'm going to say no.
Can I ask why? What does success mean to you?
So I'd say yes to what I wanted a year ago, but to what I want now, no. So I don't work in recruitment. I have time flexibility, and I get to work in, when I was really young, and I remember saying to one of my best mates and I said this to you yesterday, was he always asked me, he's like, oh, recruitment's not your end goal. And I was like, nah. And he's like, well, you know, if you could do anything, what would you do? And I was like, help people and get paid to be in the gym. Didn't know what that was, and now I get to do both. I help people every day, and I get to impart what I've learned and what I enjoy learning to make their journey easier. And I literally get paid to go to the gym, basically. It is my job. So I'm successful in that side of things, but I can't give my family everything I want to give them yet. So in that essence, no, I'm not successful, because I always have the goal of getting to a point where I know when I have a partner, they'd never have to work. My kids would never have to worry about anything like that. My mum and dad won't have to really worry about things. Like, you know, I can just go, oh, you've had a car accident, boom, there's the money.
Yeah.
That's for me what success looks like. It's not to have all these designer things. It's to be able to provide. Yeah. And I can't do that yet. I'm sure I will be able to. It'll take time. I'm also still young, so I have to keep reminding myself that. But that's what I see as successful. It's not necessarily, I'm not a pro yet either. I haven't climbed the top of any athletic mountain. I've tried many a time, but I keep falling off and running out of the gas because I'm just not meant to be up that mountain yet. So,
do you think that, well, I would personally consider that as a limiting belief. Do you think that's kind of holding you back in a sense, or not actually letting you hold gratitude in yourself for the things that you have accomplished?
Oh, I'm very happy with what I've accomplished, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I'm also a person that has learned through all my work with life coach and all that sort of stuff, and he always challenges me on this as well. But I find I need a little bit of I have to put the chip on my own shoulder now, because I don't have a reason to have a chip anymore. But I work well in that environment.
Pressure burn.
Little bit. But I definitely will not let myself throw everything away because of that, where I previously would have in the past. So I think it's something I'm ever evolving and working on. I have days where I'm like, yep, I'm doing really well. And then I have other days where I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a very good question. Very philosophical. You got me clean on that one.
You're welcome. We're bringing out the hard ones there. I thought this was going to be really interesting how this was going to play out with how tired I was before.
No, she's nailed it.
This is going well. All right. How has your experience that you've gone through with absolutely everything, how has that changed the way you show up for people?
Yeah, great. So used to be a people pleaser and used to very much have a savior mentality, where now I will show up for people as much as I can, because if I can't show up for myself, I've realized I'm absolutely useless to everybody else. So I need to prioritize the things that make me the best version of me. Going to the gym, eating well, getting my steps in, sleeping, which is something I've always been terribly bad at. But, making an effort to try and sleep and have some time to disconnect, and then I'm able to show up effectively for people.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I am a very unenjoyable person to be around, because I'll get in my own head very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And if the minorest inconvenience comes across, or somebody doesn't value something that in my head I've told myself that they should be valuing, it'll shit me to tears.
Yeah.
Which is a very bad thing, but it's something I'm getting better at. So
you can't pour from an empty cup.
100%. So I used to always I'd empty my cup completely into somebody else's till it was overflowing and it'd overwhelm them. Because that's how I thought you were meant to do it. But it's more powerful to have a conversation and actually have the balls to ask them what they would like. Because you giving them what they think they need is not what they need.
Exactly right. And it's more of the thing that you think that they need is actually more so coming from what you feel. It's more of a personal thing. If you were in that situation, it's what you feel that you would need in that situation. So you try and do what you would do if, do you get what I'm trying to say?
I think what you're trying to essentially say is, in those situations, if you are giving and giving and giving to that person, you feel like they should be doing the same back, then you're completely missing the point.
No. Say someone's going through something and you imagine yourself going through that thing, you would do what you would want other people to do for you, but that may not be what they want you to do for them. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. And I can look at myself and go, that's probably one of the reasons my last relationship broke down a little bit, because all I wanted to do, I wanted to just help, I wanted to fix it, but that's not what was needed. What was needed was for me to just
gotta sit
there and just go, okay, sure, yep, okay.
There's so much value in just listening without a response.
Yeah,
I feel like
because they don't know the answer either yet, because they're still trying to work it out. And I think that's probably one of the things looking back now. Again, you don't know until you know, but having worked with professionals, and I think everybody should go see a therapist or a life coach or somebody that's going to unpack your shit. Otherwise, you won't be able to get to where you want to get to. It will show you how to be a better person. So I know next time I have a partner, I'll be able to show up very differently.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to, even if you don't necessarily have something that's, I guess, some hardship or something that you're going through, that you don't have to have something like that to speak to a therapist.
They'll pull up things you didn't know about.
Yeah, we shuttle so much stuff down, and because we've shuttled it down for so long, we don't even realize that it's there until someone says something, or you smell something or something, and you're just like, oh.
I think one of the best things you got to think about is, why should you put your trauma on your kid? So if you're not going to fix it before you have a kid, you're not ready to have a kid. Because why should you carry your childhood traumas and then impose it on them or impose it on your partner? Because you're just going to be a terrible partner in that case. So you need to go work out what they are, fix them, or understand them and unpack them and learn why they are limiting you.
Yeah, 100%. Actions to take from this podcast. All right, we've got one question for you personally, and then we've got the ending question. What message are you trying to get out in the world?
My message is, just because you don't have what you want doesn't mean you can't get it.
I love that.
So, and what I mean by that is sort of taking it from my approach of who I work with as coaching, a lot of ex-athletes and people that have gone through things. They sort of think that's the end, and they think what they previously had was their peak. I want people to know that just because that was a peak, that doesn't mean you can't have another peak that's completely different.
That's so true.
It's never the same. I thought, me doing New South Wales representative sport was my peak. And I was like, oh, I'm never going to get back there. Sitting in Bali, working for myself and chasing a pro bodybuilding dream.
Exactly.
Had you asked me 3 years ago if I ever thought I'd be sitting here? God, no. You know, it's different. And what that looks like is always changing. But what the one thing you can do is reach out, get accountability, get a structure, and get someone to support you, because you can't do it on your own. One of my biggest things and that turned my life around was getting a coach.
Yeah.
Whether that's just to help lose a couple kilos, whether that's just to get the structure, whether that's just to learn, or whether it's just to even just have accountability and someone that's not in your own life to talk to. It is just so important.
Yeah, it really does change your life. And it's not even like, yeah, you may achieve the goal and everything and you're doing the training and everything, but the training isn't actually the thing that's changing your life. It's everything that comes from doing those actions and showing up for yourself, the trust that you build in yourself. And
it's the unapologetically showing up for you.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm huge on. I say to everybody I work with is be unapologetic for being you. Like doing what you want to do for you and don't apologize.
Yeah.
I don't really apologize to anybody anymore. I used to be the king of sorry. I'll say sorry if it's warranted, but I won't apologize for doing something that was right for me.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. All right. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
What is a quote that's living rent-free in your head right now?
It's actually a poem called Man in the Glass. It is about the fact that you can, do a dance for your mum, for your dad, for society, but if you, at the end of the day, can't look back at the man in the glass, in the mirror, and be happy with that person, that's the real win. If you can look back at that and be comfortable with that, then you're going to be sweet.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, it's a very good poem. I actually read it on my Instagram. I tried to do a little reading. I was like, I'm going to read this. And I was like, I sound retarded. But anyway.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, it's a very powerful poem. Very simple, very easy. It's like 30 seconds, very quick read. But it's one of my all-time favorites because it's just so simple that basically you can be a dancing monkey, but at the end of the day, if you die and you're looking back and you aren't happy with who you are in the mirror, it was all a waste.
Yeah, that's so true. That's beautiful.
And the other quick one is just dedication over motivation, which once I finish bodybuilding, I'll get tatted on myself somewhere.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Before we head off, where can everyone find you?
Find me at Ben_Hayman on Instagram. I also have Ben Hayman HC is my Ben Hayman HC. I'm pretty sure is my YouTube. I'm pretty good. Been posting like weekly on that now.
Yeah.
So I got my podcast with my sister on there. Gonna start another one with another bodybuilding coach actually, but just waiting for him to organise himself. So you know the individual. Yeah.
It's gonna be so.
Yeah. I've been at him, so I was like, I need you for. We just need an hour and a half. All we need a week. Just give me an hour and a half.
Be very insightful.
He is very, very intelligent, and I'm pretty good at interviewing because I did it for a year. I did it for 5 years. So
yeah. Oh, that's gonna be good. Nice.
Yeah.
And are you currently taking on board clients?
100%. I'm definitely taking on people at the moment. I'd probably take on about 4 a month at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not at my cap yet, but I probably will be pretty soon for what I want. But yeah, for me to bring on another coach, that's a while down the track. But it'll be a very particular process on who I bring in. But I'm actually coaching the person I think I'll probably bring on anyway.
Oh,
so
beautiful. That's so
he's been in my
nice.
ecosystem for a while, so it's important to me that
that
you know how everything works.
Yeah, that's so true. All right. Well, it's been amazing having you back on again.
Yes. Dude, this being recorded.
I think it has because it's saying it.
It's good. You should see your watch this time. Smart.
But thank you so much. It's been really nice getting to know you a little bit more and hearing all of your knowledge and what you've learned from your own personal experience. I'm sure we'll do another one again soon, 100%. But yeah, it's been great. And thank you all for listening. If you've listened all the way through, I hope you've enjoyed, and we will be back with another episode next week. That one was going to be a solo one, and then we've got another interview coming up.
Oh, you're finally interviewing your other mate? Or is it exactly what I think it is? Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a good story. You'll enjoy that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be a good one. All right. Well, thank you, guys. We will talk to you very soon.
Turn your Google Translate on for that one. No. Love you.
All right. We're off. Bye, guys.
Bye.